On this episode of Beer, Blues, and BS, get ready for a very musical episode. That's right, I'm sitting down with Kidder and the local geek, and we're going to be talking a lot about music. We're going to be talking especially about all the stuff going on with Linkin Park, and that's going to lead to some other great conversations as well. So strap in. It's been a while since we've done a music-heavy episode. You're going to enjoy this, and of course you're going to enjoy it. Why? Because you're in a good place. Welcome to the show.
It's Howard Blues and V. Mark Kidder. Pour a cold beverage, pull up a seat, enjoy time with friends.
Triple B! Well, the Triple B sucks. Okay? Oh, come on.
Whatever, man. This is Beer, Blues, and BS. Online at beerbluesbs.com.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Beer, Blues, and BS, the podcast that continues on in the honor and spirit of the noble lumpkin and the lustrous potentate. I am your host, the living embodiment of Charlie Brown, Howard Blues, here as always with my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, the guy who's having a little dinner as he podcasts, the Mark Kidder. Kidder, how you doing tonight?
Well, first of all, I'm wondering if you're drunk already. Second of all, eat Thai. They asked about the show again. So I told them, Beer, Blues, and BS, available everywhere. Video version on YouTube, all the audio versions available on all the podcast services like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Stitcher, TuneIn, IMDb, Player FM, Amazon Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, and probably a bunch of them that are pirating us, but we're not making money anyway, so it's not like it matters. Howard's good to be here. How you doing?
I was going to say, those poor guys that eat Thai, you know, they probably just asked you a polite question, and they're like, well, we didn't need the whole rundown. We got it.
We don't have a rundown.
Yeah, not anymore. As for the opening line, Kidder, it's a reference to the song Shriners Convention by Ray Stevens. Junior and I were talking about his great-grandfather earlier tonight, and my great-grandfather was a big fan of Ray Stevens, and that just came into my head, and it just seemed like a good opening line. And I see. Since we're still in the intro part of this, we should mention we're not alone. That's right. Returning to the show,
He's got a fez.
He's got a fez?
I don't know.
I mean,
You're talking Shriners.
I mean, it would make it exciting if he did, but I don't know that he does. We'll find out. But it is the Triple B Brewmaster, the local geek, joining us once again. How are you doing tonight?
Hey guys, I'm doing not too bad. Been kind of a crazy week, but we got through it, and looking forward to having some beers. I still got some of these IPAs to get through, even though it's September now, but that's all right. I'll get through them, and then JS sent me a delivery that I've got to work through after that, so I'm stocked.
I'm not going to lie.
You'd be better with Eat Thai.
Yeah. I still have beer from the first delivery that JS brought us. I mean, so I have like the new Glarus Spotted Cow. There's some Younglings up there.
I think I got a few of those left too.
I got to get to those. There's just too much beer, not enough podcasting. That's
a lie.
I did text JS one to keep an eye out for in his travels to try to find for us that I've had before, and it's delicious, and we can't find it around Bismarck. So.
Well, we'll see if he pulls that off. But gentlemen, we're talking beer, so let's hop into everybody's favorite segment of the show, and that is What's on Tap. And local geek, you're the guest, and Kidder's still chowing down. So why don't you start us off? What remnant of IPA Appreciation Month are you having tonight?
Yeah, so I grabbed one of the bigger ones. It's the Voodoo Ranger Peach Force. I think everybody's had this one by now, but it's 9.5% alcohol, and there's not much else for flavor text on here. So I'll go ahead and crack it open and see how it tastes. I think this one's been reviewed pretty well, if I remember right.
Yeah, and you like peach, so yep. This could be a good one for you.
I'm not picking up a lot of peach on the smell. It's mostly hops. That does go really well with the hop flavor of the peach. That's a nice one. I might give that one a 4,
Nice.
which is impressive for an IPA. I didn't think I would go that high on any of them.
Well, it's good that this IPA Appreciation Month has, expanded people's horizons, or just given Kidder another reason to be angry. But Kidder, I made you suffer all through IPA Appreciation Month here in August. It's time for you to crack something else open. So what are you having tonight, good sir? What non-IPA are you drinking?
Well, just the best of the best, especially with this delicious Eat Thai available in Bismarck and online. I believe it's eatthai.com. A 10 out of 5, an original taste, Coca-Cola. This one being Marvel branded. 140 calories. 78% of your daily intake of total sugars and carbs. There's no significant source of saturated fat, trans fat, cholesterol, fiber, vitamin D, calcium, iron, or potassium. And 34 milligrams of caffeine.
Just a quick interject for you, Kidder. It's eatthaicafe.com. I just double checked that for you.
Thank you for the hot take on that. Always want to get the correct info out to anybody who actually watches this. What are you having, Howard?
Well, I have a couple of IPAs to finish. One, because I had a week where I was parent in charge, and even though I'm parent in charge this week, I'm trying to catch up a little bit. Also, I ended up with 2 extra because of how we had to do stuff with the Hop Valley Brewing Company. So I will be drinking more IPA than the others, but that's okay. I don't think any of them will complain. But tonight I'm starting with the Hop Valley Brewing Company Big Smile Imperial IPA. It is 9.2% alcohol by volume. Big Smile is brewed with a simple malt platform to showcase the generous use of Citra, Cryo. This is going to be a rough night. Cryo. There we go. Got it. Hops. A portion of proceeds benefits the Cole Parker Randall Foundation. As I said, it's 9.2% alcohol by volume, 67 IBUs. Cryo Hops is a registered trademark of Yakima Chief Hops, Inc., used with permission. So, out of Eugene, Oregon, I think that's pretty much all of it. I forget which one of you guys also ended up with the Big Smile one.
I believe I may have, because it's at the... Oh, wait, never mind. I sorted my list alphabetically, so it may not be me after all.
I think I had it.
JS had it.
Oh. All right.
That is definitely very hoppy. It's got a nice kind of very light citrus aftertaste to it that I kind of appreciate after the punch of hops. Just that nice little ease, that little kind of subtle notes. That's pretty good. I can't see myself drinking a ton of these.
I'd hope not.
No, I'll give this about a 3.3. That's what I'm gonna score this one. So we'll get through that, and yeah, we'll be good. It'll be good. So, gents, it's been a while. A reminder to the audience: we've changed kind of our format of doing the show. So it's been a couple of weeks since I've seen the local geek. It's been 2 weeks since Kidder and I were able to sit down here, record, have a show, catch up, find out how everybody's doing. And, the world's been turning on, and there's been interesting news, things happening, stuff happening. It's been an interesting 2 weeks. Got to say that for sure. I had a point of where I was going with that, and it has escaped me So, hey, Local Geek, I know you had some news that you were excited to talk to Kidder about.
Yeah. So I don't know if I've ever mentioned it on the show or not, but Kidder's favorite band is, of course, Metallica, as everybody knows.
Yeah.
Mine would be Linkin Park, and they dropped some very exciting news this week. At least in my opinion, I know there's some people out there that aren't happy with it, but they're coming out with a new album, doing a little mini tour to I think 6 locations around the world. And then they added a new singer and a new drummer to their lineup.
I was hoping to get a chance to talk about this with you.
Kidder's now excited. He's back invested into this episode.
I've always been invested. I'm just staring down my 3 shrimp that I have left.
Do they still have the eyes on them?
No.
Good old crustacean showdown.
So, tell us about it, because you don't want me to do it. It's your thing.
So yeah, I really like the spin she's putting on it.
And who is that?
Emily, I forget her last name. I want to say Anderson, but I don't think it's right. But I think she was quoted as saying that Chester put a lot of emotion into his lyrics when he would sing them, and she knows there's no way she can do that, so she's kind of trying to do her own thing with it, and I feel like she's doing a good job with what little bit I've heard so far. She can definitely nail the screams really good. So
Emily Armstrong.
That's it. I knew it started with an A.
And where have people maybe heard her before?
I can't remember the name of the band she's from. I hadn't ever heard of it before.
This is one of those, Kidder knows the answer. He's seeing if you do.
I read it in the article, but I can't remember.
Dead Sarah.
I might surprise you guys. I actually caught a couple snippets of her singing with Linkin Park. Some people have, of course, because it's news, they've posted it on social media, and I checked it out.
In the exclusive members only live in-person concert that was also recorded as a hype for the new album tour and lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've released several shorts of her singing snippets of it, and some of the bigger songs, Numb, and their new single, of course, which I'm also having the name escape me at the moment. I blame this IPA.
Would it be the Emptiness Machine?
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah,
Eating dinner and I'm still at 100%. Thank you very much.
yeah, I won't say that she's bad, but I'm also not the biggest Linkin Park fan. It was definitely a different sound. Like, It wasn't quite right for Linkin Park, but I don't know that that's a bad thing. It's just that adjustment of whenever you get a new, singer in a band, it takes a little bit to go, oh yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, she's going into it knowing that she's not replacing Chester, so it's going to be different. And I think that's a good thing, because nobody's looking to have him replaced. If the band continues, I think everybody wanted to see it continue with a little bit of a tweak to it. And
yeah, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just different. And not that I'm a huge Linkin Park fan, but they got some songs I enjoy. So
yeah, I'm excited to see where they take things from here, and a little disappointed that their drummer Rob had decided that he was going to step away, but sounds like everybody's good with it. There wasn't like a bad blood or anything. So, and also I've read that
up later.
I've also read that Chester's wife, when he passed away, is also good with it. So, I mean, that's also good that there's no bad blood there.
Yeah.
Still coming up later.
Yeah.
But yes.
No, I'm glad. Are you excited for new music from Linkin Park?
I am. I'm very excited.
It's good. Hopefully it meets your expectation of that, because that's always, as I said, it's hard to step in and have a change to any band lineup.
Yeah. Also hoping that they have a site close to here that they play at in the near future. because the only two U.S. sites on this tour they're doing now are L.A. and New York, so equally distant from us.
Yeah. So I am not going to taint the water with my thoughts on the song because I'm still kind of mulling over it, you know. Feels very soon for me to develop an opinion on the song. However, without the slight to what they have going on in Linkin Park, you know, should they change the name to like Near Linkin Park? Something similar to that. And here's why. Bands who change lead singers, should we still consider them the band if the singer is not, you know, exactly or almost identical to how the original lead vocalist sang?
I think one of the things you run into with Linkin Park there is they've got multiple singers, so that makes it more difficult. But Chester was definitely the lead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that just because a singer leaves a band doesn't mean that the band should change, because that, unless it's one of those where it's like the leads, like it's the lead singer is the name of the band, you know. If it's
Willie Nelson.
Well, yeah, you know, something like that. But I was even thinking like, and I'm just making up a name, but like if it's, you know, Mike Smith and the Chips, and Mike Smith leaves, you know, you can't still be Mike Smith and the Chips. You might just still be the Chips. You know, but I don't know that you should, because you know, I think if you look back at some of the bands that have had singer changes, you know, the replacement singer has almost become more of the identity of that band. I'm thinking like AC/DC, you know, Brian Johnson joined on to them, and I would argue that most people recognize his voice as the voice of AC/DC more than the singer before him. But that's my take. Kidder's about ready to like, no, I disagree, and here's why. I can see him queuing up.
Okay. I think AC/DC is one of the diamonds in the rough where original AC/DC was on this level, but then it got bumped up to this level. And I mean, you think about Brian Johnson, he was there as a periphery with AC/DC before he took over as the lead vocalist. And so he, while not specifically involved with the thematic sounds of what they were doing, the lyrics, etc., he was around it, it was there, and then has a similar vocal style. So kind of carried AC/DC, and then they were able to kind of explode from there. So that's my AC/DC specific take. Similar along the lines with William Duvall and Alice in Chains, as the original Alice in Chains lineup with Lane Staley, not able to happen anymore. However, with Alice in Chains going out and searching and testing vocalists to have that sound, they're not Lane Staley, but William Duvall does it, I think, and some people will crucify me on the internet, and please throw it in the comments, that it is very close and has the same warmth and intent that Lane Staley had. You talk about bands and their namesake and things. Breaking Benjamin is a prime example of that specific thing, because around 2010, the Greatest Hits album, Shallow Bay, The Best of Breaking Benjamin, the band versus Ben Burnley lawsuit was happening because they were pissed that Ben made this Greatest Hits album, grabbed the band Valora and brought them in to re-record at least one track, and that one, Blow Me Away, originally featured on the Halo 2 soundtrack and then re-recorded with Valora. I feel it made the song way better than the original. Added a bunch of extra elements to it. I think it sounds fantastic, but it was on the Greatest Hits album as a little bit of a bonus, the same, but new. The band was pissed. They sued each other. Ben Burnley ended up winning because the damn band is named after him, and he is the prime core of the band. He wrote almost all of the lyrics. He sings. He has a distinct sound. Like, that's his name, right? That's his band. So he won in court, went their separate ways, and then, bam, that's when we got the brand new album in 2014, which, again, was fantastic. Other bands that are along the same line. Drowning Pool. Original lead vocalist passed away, and Ryan McCombs came in. I think Ryan McCombs' Drowning Pool is better than the original Drowning Pool, even though there's only one album, and we never got to see the whole gamut of what could have been that version of Drowning Pool. But I also like how Ryan McCombs sings. So whether he's in Soil, whether he's in Drowning Pool, a guest vocalist on another song, I enjoy that. On top of that, 3 Days Grace. Those MFers piss me off.
They pissed a lot of people off.
Because My Darkest Days was a superior version of what they have now. And they could have kept it as My Darkest Days. 3 Days Grace is what it is. Got into a spat again between Adam Gontier and the band. Howard's laughing. Adam Gontier said, screw you guys, I'm going to make my own band, which he did. Saint Asonia, fantastic live. Plays the original 3 Days Grace songs that he helped write. Fantastic, because it's the version of the songs that you're supposed to hear. The new 3 Days Grace mostly sucks.
I'm mostly laughing, Kidder, because I knew what I said, and here comes Kidder to just knock me down. Thank you for making me correct on that. You just
I mean, wasn't trying to knock you down. I'm trying to build you back up.
No. Listen. It's all good. I enjoy listening to you drop all this knowledge. So I was enjoying it. So, yeah. I mean,
Good.
it's an inch.
Thanks for enjoying that.
Yeah. It was just kind of great because I do have like, and here it comes, and it was just example after example after example, and it was just like, thank you, masterclass on that. This is why this is why I know you could, but for anybody who doesn't know, in Kidder's other, when he's not podcasting, he's a pretty damn good DJ, and this is why, because of this knowledge base that he has.
Thank you.
You see? Yeah.
No. I appreciate you.
Monday
through Friday, 2 to 7 p.m. Central Time, and Saturdays, noon to 4 p.m. Central Time on 96.5 The Walleye. Online at 965thewalleye.com and anywhere at your fingertips with the free 96.5 The Walleye app.
Yeah. We're speaking, we started this off with kind of like favorite bands and such. My favorite band, their biggest album turns 30 next year. So Blues Travelers 4 turns 30, and they're doing a special concert series where they're going back and playing a lot of the music from 4. And the closest that they get to us is Minneapolis. Unfortunately, I have an event at one of my historic sites that day, so I won't be going. But one of these days, I hope that they will travel back to North Dakota. Or at least, even because they were in Moorhead at one point not too long ago. I'd love to hear Blues Traveler again live, but yeah, can't believe 4 has turned 30. That's ridiculous. So,
the live concert from Red Rocks that was broadcast a couple years ago on New Year's Eve was fantastic.
Blues Traveler is a pretty awesome, concert band. They're not the big, light lighting and special effects show that Kiss is, by any means, but they will play things, they will do things. When I got to see them in Grand Forks, John Popper did the fastest version of The Devil Went Down to Georgia I have ever heard. I mean, he just cranked it up to the fastest speed that he could talk, and he just went through it. And it was like, mind-blowing. They've recited the Jabberwock poem to music at their live show. So they know what songs they have done that are just crowd pleasers, and they just go out and have a good time, and it's fun. I want to see them live again, especially because it seems like every year now, John at some point will lose his voice or is having health issues, and so it makes you wonder how much longer he's going to want to tour and such. But I hope they keep turning out music, because I enjoy the hell out of the stuff they do. They're a band that doesn't take themselves too seriously, and they will put in comedic things and do songs that are just ridiculous on top of doing them really awesome just work, and it's great. But that's my big disappointment. They're playing in Minneapolis here in September, and I can't go. Shucks. So, but
I didn't get to go to Metallica in Minneapolis either.
I know, which was a bummer, Kidder, because I know you missed out on night 2 of Metallica in Phoenix. So I was pulling for you to get to at least go to Minneapolis. I know not your favorite place to go for a show, because you've been there, you've done that,
and the Wild live there.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard a rumor, Kidder. I don't know if you've seen anything, that the Wild are doing like a whole rebrand. Like they're getting rid of their logo, changing it to something else.
Like anything that doesn't suck.
I mean, it's the Wild, so they can only go one way with that. But I haven't seen anything from it or heard anything since. But that was the big scuttlebutt right at the end of the season, was that the Wild was going to throw out the bear logo that they have and go with something else. So
I hope not. And here's why. I actually don't mind that logo, because it's unique. It encompasses items of Minnesota. And I could go political with it, talking about their state flag, but I'll leave it at that, because that's what it would probably turn into.
Yeah, to me, that's not one of the ugliest logos out there. So, Kidder, if you had to give us, what is the ugliest NHL logo out there? I'm not going to ask the best, because we both know where that's going to go. What is the ugliest? What is the worst logo out there?
Let's just pull up a list. I mean, we can start maybe at the top with the ugly ass orange NHL logo from the 90s.
Well, I'm talking about a specific team.
Oh, I know. I'm starting right there. You wanted all of them. We're going down the list.
Oh boy.
Man, let's see here. I mean, the Penguins logo is kind of ugly just because they're annoying, I guess. And I mean, why is there a triangle behind a penguin? What does that mean? What does that mean?
Signifies the 3 periods in a game.
Oh, is that?
I have no idea. I'm
Local Geek got less interested in this show when we switched from talking music to NHL. He's like, well, I'm out.
He's going to be out of here in a second. Skip the penalty box. He's ejected. 1 game suspension.
No, I got to have a couple more beers before I go.
Hey, speaking of that,
ladies and gentlemen, welcome to everybody's second favorite segment of the show, and that is What's on Tap? Round 2. Drink.
We'll start here because I was punished enough, unless this is going to be punishing as well. And that is with a peach finish long drink.
Nice.
5.5 alcohol percentage by volume. It is peach, apparently. I don't know how they get the peach in this whole thing. 12 fluid ounces. And an aluminum can. Getting all choked up.
They've been showing up on my Facebook lately. They also have a white can that we haven't tried yet. It's a zero sugar version.
Yeah, I'm not going to mess with that one. No.
Yeah, it's also the citrus. I mean, it's along the same lines as the blue and black cans.
It smells like a peach Jolly Rancher. There's a little bit of a at the end that I don't like, but peach is there, so that's still pretty smooth. Maybe I'll get to like it a little bit more, but as of right now, solid 3.1.
That's decent. That's decent. I'll take it. Because also, I mean, it's a gin drink. And for those who maybe you're new to the show, and if so, welcome. Kidder's not a big gin fan. He prefers his hard liquor in the whiskey variety.
Yeah, I branch out now and then. Depends on the mix. But yeah.
Local Geek, what are you having for round 2?
I grabbed the Deschutes Tropical Fresh India Pale Ale. It says loaded with tropical hops. And the tasting notes are tropical, citrus, and crisp. It smells incredibly hoppy. And it is. But the finish on it is quite nice, actually. I'll give it a 2.
I have to say, this is one of the added benefits of this whole IPA Appreciation Month journey we've been on, is that, Kidder, I don't know if you've noticed this, we actually get to see the local geek react to a beer he doesn't enjoy. Because so many times, local geek no-sells the beer. He'll take a sip and be like, that's good. Right, or the Malort. And he's just like, fine. In fact, there is still a conspiracy theory out there that the local geek didn't really drink Malort. And that one, and that he'd like shot of water, like, oh yeah, it's terrible, guys. Yeah.
It was legitimate, I promise.
Because I have seen like more expressive disgust faces on him since he's had to drink some of these IPAs.
I knew what I was getting into with the Malorts, so.
Right.
I'm still working on finishing this because again, parent uncharged this week. But hey, that beer that Local Geek just opened. Check back next week. I might be having it. So anyway, Kidder, we were in a conversation about what is the worst NHL logo for a team.
The Columbus Blue Jackets with the bug. That one sucks.
Okay, that's a good choice.
The star is nice with the red, white, and blue, but it doesn't mean anything. To that.
Yeah, that's a good one. I would have gone with the Arizona Coyotes cartoon coyote. Not the howling head that they've had, but like the old like 90s
yes.
That one I was never a fan of.
It was like an Aztec feel almost, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it is in the top 10 of the ugliest sports team logos.
Nice to know I'm in the ballpark there. So Kidder, we've said the worst. We know what we both say for the best. So, what is the best NHL hockey team logo that is not the Colorado Avalanche?
The Nordiques.
No, I'm not. That's
Not the Avalanche. Not the Avalanche.
yeah, not that. Somebody else. If you had to be caught out in public wearing another team's hockey jersey, which one? Which logo?
Carolina Hurricanes. Of course, weather related, right?
Yeah.
I'm a little bit more partial to their alternate jersey because it's creative. You know, the Hurricane is supposed to be the red flag with the black square in the center. And there's supposed to be two of them because one is a tropical storm. So whoever designed the logo is an idiot, first of all, because there's only one. But it's cool because it's a hockey stick and the flag's on the hockey stick. I like that. You put two flags and then you actually know what you're doing.
For me, it'd be the one, and I still might someday pick up this jersey just because I like the logo of it. But it would be the Buffalo Sabres. They had what I call the cavalry patch with the cross sabers and the bison jumping over it. I love that logo. I love that version of their jersey. I would love to have one of those just because I like the look of that. Not that I care anything about the Buffalo Sabres. I really like the appeal of that one. It ties in a little bit to kind of the military history I've studied and bison and all of that. That would be my number two.
Yeah, you see. Yeah.
Well, the local geeks got noir on us.
Yeah, they didn't have a fez, but this was the best I could do.
I mean, now you're going to get them, coppers. Two pieces for you, Howard. One, the Buffalo's yellow and blue logo sucks. It looks like a bad ripoff of the NDSU logo, which also sucks. And then their alternate version is like a Tatanka bullhead with stars. That one's even worse. Why?
Yeah.
And in a history related, close to you and your past life, had dinner at Applebee's the other day, and they've done a little renovation in it. Hold on. Don't give me that stupid look. How does this have anything to do with anything? I saw it. The wheels are turning. Back up the cart. You're okay. They've done a renovation in there where they have a bunch of pictures of stuff in the area, some historic sites and people, and was seated in the booth next to the photo of Mark Kennewick. There's a big photo of him on the wall in there, and I've been waiting to tell you because I knew that you would like to hear about that because of the amount of an impact that he had in the Bismarck-Mandan area in history.
Well, and in my life.
Yep.
For those who don't know Mark Kennewick, to me, he is always the sergeant major. When I graduated from high school, the place I was working, Gateway to Science, told me as a senior, like, well, you're going to be going off to college. We're going to replace you. So that means that we're not going to necessarily fire you, but you're going to get fewer hours because we need to train in the new staff. So you need to go find some place else to work. And I ended up getting hired out at Fort Abraham Lincoln State Park as an interpretive guide working for the sergeant major. And me and him hit it off. I always put that he was kind of my mentor. He's the reason I went into teaching. He's the one why I'm into the field I am in nowadays. He meant a lot to me and taught me a lot. And, I got to work with him for 3 summers. He was incredibly charismatic individual to anyone who met him. And just a great sense of humor, but he taught me a lot about being a manager because he would talk to us. We were college kids, high school kids. He talked to all of us. And even though you wouldn't see him every day, he remembered the conversations that he had with you, and he could bring it back up. And I've tried to do the same with all of my staff, whenever I've managed staff, to try and pay attention when they tell me something so that I can ask them back. I used to surprise my student staff at Gateway to Science when I went back there, because they'd come in and I'd go, "So how'd the history test go?" And they go, "How'd you know I had a history test?" I'm like, "Well, you told me last week," and I remembered.
Nice.
Mark was that guy, and I will forever remember him in his full wool 1875 military uniform, riding his motorcycle through the state park to the song "Du Hast" by Rammstein. Because we once had a conversation, because he always drove up there, and somebody said, "What do you think the soundtrack is for him, as he's driving through that?" I said, "Well, it's Du Hast by Rammstein." And you just couldn't get the image out of your head with that dun 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 Du Hast. Me and him had a lot of great laughs. And I had a lot of respect for him. And unfortunately, after my 3 years working out there, I came back for Christmas vacation to learn that he had passed of a heart attack. And after that, I couldn't go back to working out there. But I did have the honor and privilege of being a pallbearer at his funeral. And I think kind of he's one of those who's put me on the path in life of where I am now. So I owe a lot to Sergeant Major. So glad to hear that he is still being kind of honored in that way, even if it's just the wall of an Applebee's. But that's, he is a very awesome individual. So, and greatly missed.
I mean, say what you will about Applebee's, the food quality. However, I love how they always have the theme of the city that it's in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I love about that restaurant. I don't go there that often, not like I used to. My grandma and I used to go there all the time when they had all of the stuff on the wall from around town and everywhere else. But yeah. Got a little riblet basket, some extra barbecue sauce.
Gosh, I was going to say I can't remember the last time I ate at an Applebee's, but I actually can. It was early to mid-February 2018. And I had just been taken out to the Chateau de Morez to meet the staff out there as part of the interview process for getting the position of site supervisor at the Chateau. And on the way back, the department director treated me to lunch. And that was at Applebee's in Dickinson. So that's the last time I ate at an Applebee's. Unfortunately now, that individual is Fern. And again, I thank her for a lot too, because she's the reason I have kids. And now she has passed. So let this be a lesson to anybody who wants to offer career advice for Howard. Don't do it. You put a clock on your lifespan at that point. That would be the lesson of tonight, as I try to make this slightly more humorous and slightly less depressing.
It sounds like those skills have been something you've picked up and carried into your careers. So
yeah,
I feel like your staff respect you. And
yeah, it's a it's one of those things where it's amazing how much a good manager can have that effect on people. And management isn't easy. It's not fun. Anybody who wants to really be the boss, I would question your motives, because it's hard, and you have to be good at it. When you suck at it, it's tough. I actually learned after I left Gateway to Science and went out to the Chateau, almost all of the student staff quit shortly after I left.
Oh, wow.
Because the person who replaced me, wonderful person, absolutely wonderful person. In fact, Local Geek, I think you might know him because it was Jonah's mom who replaced me. So nothing against her. I think a lot of her, but it wasn't me, you know. And I think that there was a lot of loyalty built up of how I treated my staff. That, yeah, they didn't want to deal with the change. They didn't want somebody else in there. So, you know, which is a great compliment. But it's also, I mean, this happens in almost any industry. As soon as the leadership changes, you tend to have a great deal of turnover. And it's, you know, part of it is people don't want to work for somebody else. They might not like the person who gets the new job. It could be that they weren't really good at their job, but the boss was letting them slack off, and now it's like, oh crap, I gotta do work, and maybe they can't cut it. But yeah, you have your most turnover when you have a leadership change, and you know, that's how it goes. And yeah, it's tough. Management isn't always easy. It's not always fun. I have gotten far more gray hairs being a manager than when I was a teacher. So I'll tell you that.
I'll say from where I'm at, I have zero desire to move into leadership. I'm at like I recently mentioned when I got my promotion about a year ago. I'm in the senior position for where I'm at. My next step would be to go to a lead, and that isn't really something that I'm interested in. There's potential that they'll open what's called a principal position, which is just kind of you're the expert of your department. So I'm hoping they'll eventually open that up and I can apply for that. I don't feel I'm quite ready for it, but
yeah, I'm stuck where I'm at. I can't move any higher up in the historical society. Unfortunately, I love the society, but unfortunately we get very locked into, you have to have certain degrees to move up. And because I didn't get a master's degree, and I had no reason to get one, because in education, when you get your master's degree, then that means you're tending to head down the administration track,
right? Or college professor,
right? And I didn't really want to be an administrator. I just wanted to be a teacher, and so I didn't go for a master's. I didn't see a need for it, and now I can't move up because I don't have a master's degree. So,
and I would also definitely give a shout out to my boss, even though I'm sure he doesn't watch the show, but he's a fantastic boss. And my dad had some health issues this week, and I just told him, hey, I need the day off, and I kind of gave him a brief explanation what's going on, and he didn't have any problem with me last minute taking the day off to help my dad go to the hospital and take care of his visits and stuff. And he's good now. So
it's good. That's good. Yeah, it good managers work that way, and that's it's a lot of work and sacrifice. That's how it goes. So
I said there's still time.
I don't know that that's going to happen anytime soon. I barely have enough time to do my own things. I don't know when I'm going to get a master's degree. So, I mean, I hate to say it, kidder. I'm already going to be pushing 40 this year. So, yeah. We getting old, man. We're getting old.
We are.
Hey, Local Geek, when did first Linkin Park album come out?
Oh, I want to say 2000, 2001.
And what was the name of it?
Oh, was that one Meteora? No.
Just gonna let him sweat.
You say it's your favorite band. Local Geek's like, I didn't sign on for this grilling.
I hate this. So much for this show. Screw all of you.
I'm going over to Rum Rock and Rumors.
Hybrid Theory was the first album to be released in 2000. Yes, in the year 2000.
I was pretty confident in the 2000, 2001. I wasn't 100% sure which year, but I do remember I didn't listen to Linkin Park at the time. I'd never heard of them. but I was a big fan of POD. And POD took Linkin Park on tour right around that time. And Minneapolis was the closest place they played. And I mean, I was still in high school. I wasn't able to go to Minneapolis for that show. I think it was on a weeknight too. So I'd never heard of Linkin Park until they were on tour with POD that year. And had I known how much I would like Linkin Park in the future, I definitely would have tried harder to go. But
I thought you were just hanging out at Sertoma Park, and it was just the wrong park. Reanimation, the mix different songs and versions, was 2002, and then Meteora came out in 2003.
fun fact, Reanimation's my favorite album.
Yes, it is a very good album. And then they recorded a live in Texas in 2003, which is a DVD or CD or both, depending on which version you got. Your feeling on Minutes to Midnight?
I really liked it. I know when that one came out, there was a lot of controversy because it was a pretty significant style change for them. But I really enjoyed it.
And you talk about style change. What about 1,000 Suns from 2010?
I also really enjoyed that one. That's probably my second favorite album.
Wow. Learning all kinds of things about local geek. Howard's like, what are you stalling for? I'm not stalling for anything.
No, I'm actually kind of glad that you're stalling because
I'm gonna throw one back to Kidder.
Yeah.
What are the side projects of the members of Linkin Park?
Let's see. I can see the band's name from Chester in my face.
I had actually completely forgotten about them until Ashley asked me one day. She's like, "What was Chester's side project name?" I was like, "I haven't listened to that forever. I couldn't remember the name. I had to Google it."
Dead by Sunrise?
Yes,
and Gray Days.
that was Chester's. What about Mike's?
Well, he got a self-titled project.
Yep.
So
Yeah, back in I want to say 06-ish. He also released an album, kind of a hip hop album.
What, Howard?
I'm just glad you guys aren't asking me any questions because I know none of this.
What was
like it was
Blues
all-
Traveler's first album?
Travelers and Thieves.
What year did it come out?
Gosh, that's either 91 or 92.
Sorry, you chose both, and that is incorrect.
Looks like it was the end of 05 that album came out from Fort Minor, so I was close with 06.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I at least knew which album was first.
Mm-hmm.
So I have all of their albums, so they're good. My favorite, in case anyone is just curious, is a little album called Bastardos. That album's fun. One of two albums that had songs that I quoted in my best man speech at Kidder's wedding.
Nice.
Fun fact. Yeah.
Good. That's the best.
Yeah, that's a speech I wish I had written down somewhere, Kidder.
I'd say there's a recording of it somewhere, but
Yeah.
I was just going to ask if Kidder had a videographer at his reception.
yes and no.
They lose the SD card?
No. I think only part of it was recorded.
Oh, that happened to a friend of mine. Their photographer lost the SD card for their wedding photos.
That's rough.
Mm-hmm.
That's rough. Yeah. No.
Speaking of rough,
I'm out. You got like 20 seconds, Kidder. What's rough?
I'm out.
Oh, well, in that case, but before, I guess that would be, Kidder, the kind of tragic news that I could say And on that tragic note, Kidder, we've been talking for quite a while. It's time we wrap this show up with some cheap plugs.
Here's how cheap they are. Go back to the beginning of the episode, like us, share us, do all the things, subscribe everywhere. You're good to go. No, I'm just kidding. You got to also add in beerbluesbs.com, our website, beerbluesbs.com, beerbluesbs.com. That's our main website, gets you to most of the places that we need you to get to help us. Also, streamlabs.com/beerbluesbs, streamlabs.com/beerbluesbs. There you can subscribe as little as $1 a month and help us out. As little as $1 can help us pay it forward to keep bringing you the content that you might want. And if there's something else you want to see or hear, drop it in the comments below because we want to hear from you. I'm guessing Local Geek is not wanting any more IPAs for quite some time. JS Gunslinger commented, all of those drinks sucked, or something to that effect. Yes, indeed. So, aside from that, Facebook, we're on Facebook. Please like it, like the page, join us for the conversation because there's a lot happening on the Facebook page. Also, Instagram, we put some funny reels and photos on there and whatnot. Howard's been doing a lot of the work, posting a bunch of the videos and them sorts of things. And so we're trying to get you involved. So help us help you and like, share, and subscribe. Local Geek, we're talking to you. But he's been sharing. So thanks. He gave the thumbs up. That's definitely a cheer for a beer. I guess on that note, Howard Blues. That's it for this one.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you have any final thought?
No, I'll save that for next episode.
Wow, what a teaser that nobody will see. So, for the Local Geek, for Howard Blues, I'm the band, the myth, legend, Mark Kidder. Thank you for joining us for this and every episode of Beer, Blues, and BS. Remember to keep your glass at least half full. There is free beer tomorrow, the Cheers for Beers type thing. And we will catch you on down that non-IPA, only tasty beer filled, drinking responsibly highway. Have a good one. See you in the next episode of Beer, Blues, and BS.
You have been listening to a UA production of Beer, Blues, and BS. If you enjoyed the show, help others find out about it by rating the show or leaving a review at your podcast listening service of choice. Thanks for listening, and may your glass never be empty. UA Productions presents A Glimpse Behind the Curtain.
Okay. I saw that you just got dinner.
Well, what?
I saw the plate of food. At least I thought it was a plate of food.
I saw that too.
What?
Listen, I'm just saying, if you need a
I don't know what you're talking about.
To eat, you know, we don't need to become a mukbang podcast.
Is that Thai food?
It sure is.
The pineapple chicken
On top. And then the basil chicken, shrimp, and steak below.
Oh, interesting.
Y'all know I like to go all out when I get my stuff.
You like to go all out when you go all in?
Yeah, just 2 weeks apart.
Yeah. And that's as close to wrestling coverage as we get these days.
I might actually watch it tomorrow.
Whoa.
I said might. Calm down. So you're sure welcome to edit this in, but delicious food from Eat Thai. And as I stopped in to get my order, they were like, "Hey, Mark, right?" I'm like, "Yep." "All right. Yeah, you guys still doing that podcast?" "Yep. Beer, Blues, and BS." "All right, yeah." We still do some cheap plugs for y'all when we can. So cheap plug, go eat Thai because it's amazing.
Truthfully, I'm going to put this all in behind the curtain. So, but it's in the episode.
While we're plugging restaurants, last week I had some coworkers in town from Sioux Falls and Bemidji, and one of them is a native from Nepal. And so he, of course, wanted to check out the Indian place because Nepal's right next door. And we ended up going there every day for lunch. He liked it so well. So got a huge thumbs up for the Indian place.
I like how you guys are burning through all this content off the show. I don't want there to be any pauses when we get to going, because I'm going to be like, you guys had topics. You just used them all in the pre-show for some reason.
Not my fault you didn't do your opening line.
I was waiting on you.
I've been here.
Not as long as Derek and I have been.
No. I had priorities.
I see that. He's calling us losers there, Derek.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, you're just missing out.
Just for that, I say we, take and expand and extend IPA Appreciation Month for another month.
Just
here, I'll be over in a bit with some beer.
Only December.
I think there was at least one IPA in that pack you gave me from JS. I don't know if you got all the same ones as I did, but
I haven't looked because apparently there's some cryptic message written on the box for me, and I'm not allowed to look at it until it's on the show.
Got to be a live reaction.
So, hey, this will also be behind the curtain, a tease. Make sure you tune in. What cryptic message did I get? There you go.
You put teaser that no wonder nobody watches the show. All the good stuff is hidden.
Yeah, that's your reward for watching the whole damn show. It's like a treasure hunt. You can't find the treasure halfway through.
The only person who watches the show is on the other side of the screen.
And I'm sure he loves these little tidbits at the end of the show.
I do.
He's in on it.
Not all of them.
He can't give us any more clicks unless he starts getting a bunch of fake accounts.
Yeah.
I mean, you are the tech guru. Anyway, you can get like a few thousand bots accounts to go through and like all of our stuff.
I'm not even in a quarter of the episodes yet. I'm getting close.
Yeah. All right.
This one will be, I think, my 41st appearance.
The bots will help.